Hello and welcome back to Factorio Fixit. My name's Native Root and let's get cracking. Today we're playing a factory by CoolJoe. It's another late game factory, some 73 hours in this one. You can see my frame rate is absolutely through the floor. Yeah, still working on that, not swearing thing. Anyway, this is actually a really cool factory. CoolJoe has done something for me that I have not come across yet. It's some 100 and something episodes. This is the first time, so let's do it. Oh, here we go. This looks like I need to get on this. So, it is welcome to my no. Welcome to my planet. Oh, how cool is that? Impressed already. Now, I've obviously been in this save before, and I'm glad I actually came in because I wouldn't have spotted something. You can see here, this is a very, very nice base, very well laid out. Not too many corners that I can see, which is good. So someone's been listening. Now, up here is the interesting stuff. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. CoolJoe has organised a tour. So, if you would all please kindly jump in the carriage, arms and legs inside the vehicle at all times, and press start. Let's go on the tour around CoolJoe's factory, and I'll commentate as we go along. Now, trains are quite extensive here because it actually seems like CoolJoe's tried to go for a von Neumann setup. Now, if you don't know what a von Neumann setup is, a von Neumann machine is something that is self-replicating. It will go to a spot, it'll use in situ resources and then recreate itself endlessly. Theoretically, if they did it and they sent it to the moon, if you sent a 1 kilo object there, you know, within X time you'd have a ton. Within, you know, an even shorter amount of time you'd have 10 ton. Even shorter amount you'd have 20 ton. And in this way you can create a factory or a self-sustaining resource for yourself. So that was the solar field we just went past. We can see now that we're going past mining bases. Nice little sightings. Whoa, whoa, head on. At 200 k's an hour would not be fun. Now this is one of the iron mines. You can see here that things get loaded. We stop for 0 seconds because this is a tour. Now all the raw resources are coming in on trains. And see here that there's a copper mine up here, which is quite nice. Another copper mine. They all run off sidings. There's this one main line which is quite congested. But the siding system seems to be working and handling with the system, handling the flow of trains quite well. You know, this it seems like it's certainly an inferior solution done exemplary well, I think would be the best way of describing it. So yeah, factory, lots of factory stuff going everywhere, tour, and now we get into the fun stuff. Now you can see that we've got this weird setup. Now I reckon that if we looked hard enough, we'd find everything we need in this little area here. And these are, you know, solar panels and stuff. And okay, let's head north. You can see that this design has rather familiar features. You see we've got a mine there. Oh, there's another one. So this factory seems to be repeating itself. And you can see it goes on for quite a distance. Here's another one. So this is, it seems like an attempt at a von Neumann factory where you can just place blueprints after blueprints and just endlessly replicate itself across the map. So long as you have the raw resources coming in, that is to say that you set up the raw resource inputs, you'll be fine. You can just keep going endlessly. Now I remember spotting a post on the Reddit about the von Neumann setup where someone actually had hit the limits of everything. You know, their factory was huge. They had this massive blueprint which was absolutely ridiculous, and he just found that it was physically impossible to do. However, the von Neumann idea is one of interesting propositions. And I actually referenced it in the last video that I did, but von Neumann's War is a good example of how it could be put to military uses. This kind of idea of sending probes out and then having them endlessly replicate. Unfortunately, the book does end with a little bit of a cop-out. The Americans saved the day in a typical American way. But you can see this factory is very, very interesting, and I think this will be a pretty short video, to be honest, because it doesn't really need fixing. I'm not really going to go too far into it because it's based upon an idea of being self-replicating. So for example, you can see that we've got a furnace, we've got the raw inputs, you know, when our, for example, when our our oil comes in, here's the oil. Oil can be handled. There's no issues whatsoever with handling any of that. It can create anything it needs on site, so that's very, very cool. You can see right now we're heading to T3 drop-off. So this is just an example of how in-depth these factories can become. Here's another version. You can see what happens when you work at it for 73 hours. So this over here is kind of the, this over here is kind of the original kind of setup, and then we migrated. And see that it's just been placed across the map. Bang, 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 bang. Up we go here, down here. You know, there's spurs and everything running everywhere. So now you can see that we're heading towards the end of the line, or this trunk line, and it will turn around and go back. So the next stop is the start of the tour. So quite a sizable factory, and you can see that as we're running around, there's a lot of stuff going on. Very, very interesting. What we'll do is actually, we'll just bail. Oh yeah. Now the trick with bailing out of a train is to make sure you hold up or down, and it depends on what side you're getting out of, because if you don't, you will run yourself over. Oh, that is a, I saw this before. This is a weird train setup, but the reason it works is because here this is set up with logistics bots in mind. So the logistics pattern is self-replicating, and that train setup will allow a station in to work with it, basically. Very, very cool. Now let's have a look here. It all runs on logistics bots. Let's see. You know, the available bots isn't very high. Or sorry, the total bots isn't very high. At 134, that's not very many. So you know, obviously the requirements on the factory is quite low, and that may be because of the distributed nature. It also may be because we're not building anything currently. One improvement that I'd actually like to see made to this factory is if this entire furnace setup was changed into a smart setup. Because everything's linked through logistics bots, you could theoretically have a furnace system that adjusts itself on the fly, and that von Neumann setup is quite intriguing, because suddenly, you know, you stamp 6 of these across the across the map, and you have this weird kind of amalgamated production capacity, which would be off the charts. And that's kind of the idea behind the von Neumann machine, is that by using itself and replicating itself, the production capacity increases exponentially. And having a smart factory there would allow you to utilize that exponential production capacity, to your own gains, where suddenly, you know, if you need 5k copper instantly, you have this distributed system which will bang, it'll flick over, it'll stop crafting iron when it doesn't need to, and it'll start crafting copper plate. So that's one thing I'd like to see. You know, you can see that it's all been very well thought out. It's extremely compact, so much so that, let me just have a look here and have a bit of a play around. If I was to delete this one, right, if I was to go down here, because at a guess I know exactly how big this this little area is going to be. We'll see how he's done though. So you can see that pretty much to the T. Okay, up the top left hand corner, if I remove it, it's going to disappear. But up the top left hand corner, actually I could walk up here, there is exactly 1 square of space left. Everything else has been made to fit in the area, and Bob's your uncle, Freddy's your aunt. Very, very nice. I think that's going to pretty, oh my lord, there's only one thing. The base is all the way up there. So what I'm going to do, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to hop a train back to the main area. I'll catch you in the next episode, where we tackle another save. It'll be a lot of fun. I hope to see you then. If you'd like me to play your save, be sure to send it through to rootnegative@gmail.com, and I'll be sure to have a crack at it when I can. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, see you later.